Survivors of the Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School massacre are mobilizing with a message for their elected officials. Enough is enough. The students there are demanding that lawmakers take action on gun control so students can be safe at school. Two of those students, who you will recognize, join us now. We have Emma Gonzalez and David Hogg. Guys, it is so great to have you both back on the show. Emma, that clip that we just played, that has been viewed as of this morning about 20 million times. CNN posted it on our Facebook page. 20 million times around the world, people have clicked on that because they were so interested in what you had to say. So to the politicians that you were talking about, to Senator Marco Rubio, who said after this shooting, you know, you can pass the law, but you're still going to have these horrible attacks. What do you say to him?
I say to that even though they say that criminals get guns no matter what laws you have in place, that might be true, but we don't have to encourage them to get those guns. We can make it harder, absolutely make it harder, and we can prevent some seriously nasty crimes and some seriously indescribable tragedies from occurring. And if somebody doesn't want to do that at this point, that's pathetic.
David,
I would say to Marco that you can't work through divisions. It's absolutely terrifying. The fact that he immediately got up and started talking about how gun control is not the solution. Every answer is a solution at this point because we haven't tried any of them, and we need a multifaceted approach to this extremely complex problem, because if we don't have that, this will never come to an end.
What did you both think about the president tweeting over the weekend? Very sad that the FBI missed all of the signals sent out by the Florida school shooter. This is not acceptable. They're spending too much time trying to prove Russian collusion with the Trump campaign. There is no collusion. Get back to basics and make us all proud.
Yeah. I think it's disgusting personally. My father's a retired FBI agent, and the FBI are some of the hardest working individuals I've ever seen in my life. They work every day, 24/7, to ensure the lives of every single American in this country. And it's wrong that the president is blaming them for this. After all, he is in charge of the FBI. He can't put that off on them. He is in charge of them. And these people, what they love to do is push this off on the bureaucracy and say it's not them. He is in charge of the FBI. That's one of the executive branches. The executive branch is supposed to enforce laws, and as such, President Trump is in charge of that, and the FBI.
And I do want to reiterate that the FBI were some of the amazing first responders who were helping us get to safety, and the fact that he wants to discredit them in any way and that he's trying to shift our focus onto them is disgusting. It's not acceptable.
I appreciate that reminder that they're the first responders and that they go into these dangerous situations to try to save people.
I have a question. Since the FBI, President Trump is in charge of the FBI, does that mean that he's in charge of every case and he's supposed to oversee every case? This is just a question. I'll continue with the video.
So the president says that he's going to hold a listening session with students on Wednesday. Have either of you been invited?
I believe we've been invited, but neither of us are going. We had a preset town hall meeting that we will be attending.
It's on CNN with Jake Tapper.
So you have to
be attending the listening session.
So you've already committed to that, so you'll be doing that.
Well, she's certainly right about the deep corruption of the news media. How corrupt? Well, Colton Hobb, a JROTC cadet who helped lead students to safety during the shootings in Florida last week, went to the CNN event last night, or wanted to. He says CNN producers rewrote the question he wanted to ask. CNN denies scripting anything. In other words, they're claiming that Colton Hobb is a liar. Colton Hobb joins us tonight. Colton, thanks for coming on.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much for having me. And before we get into anything, I just want to make sure that everybody hasn't forgotten why we are actually here tonight. I mean, we lost 17 lives last week, and
yes,
I actually physically put 2 to rest. And to me, that was the hardest thing in the world to endure. I mean, nobody should have to go through this. So as long as we're taking the right steps to move forward from this and make sure that this doesn't happen again, I'm all for that.
Well, we certainly haven't forgotten. Thank you for reminding us yet again. And we think that the only way to make the country better and maybe put a dent in this scourge is to have a rational, thoughtful conversation about what to do next. And with that in mind,
absolutely,
you were planning to go to this event last night. And tell me if I'm mischaracterizing any of this. And you sent in, at the request of a CNN producer, you sent in a number of questions, statements you wanted to make, questions that you wanted to ask of the politicians on the stage. And they rewrote one of your questions? Is that right?
Yes, sir. So what had happened was 4 days ago, I had gotten contacted by a lady named Carrie Stevenson from CNN. She had asked me originally to just write a speech. It was going to be at the town hall at the BB&T Center. So I agreed. I felt like it would be the right thing to do, be able to go speak my part, as well as open eyes to a few things that I thought that could make this situation a little better. From there, 3 days ago, so the next day after that, we had gotten, I got an email back from her, and she asked for more of questions rather than a speech, which I was totally fine with. So I wrote little less of a speech and more of questions that I wanted to ask at the town hall. The day after that, it was more of just questions. She asked for just questions that I would like to ask. So I gave her my questions, and then yesterday at about 5:15, I made contact with her, and she had asked if I just asked her one question. So what they had actually done was wrote out a question for me, because in my interview with CNN, I had talked about arming the teachers if they were willing to arm themselves in the school to carry on campus. And they had, she had taken that of what I had briefed on and actually wrote that question out for me. So I have that question here if you'd like me to ask it for you.
Well, but I just want to make sure I have this straight. So you sent them a long, in effect, essay on what you thought, but they put
Yes,
their
sir.
own words in the question, and they weren't the same as the words you had sent in? They were the producer's words?
Absolutely. They had taken what I had wrote and what I had briefed on and talked about, and they actually wrote the question for me.
But not with your words. I mean, they put their own words into your question, even after they'd asked you to send questions in. But that seems dishonest.
It definitely did, and that's kind of why I didn't go last night. Originally, I had thought that it was going to be more of my own question and my own say, and then it turned out to be more of just a script. And she had actually said that over the phone, that I needed to stick to the script.
That's remarkable. What did you watch last night?
I watched a little bit of it. I kind of felt like I didn't really need to, because I knew that as soon as what had happened with me, that it was going to be more scripted and wasn't actually going to be actual questions. Then I didn't feel the need to fully watch it.
So if CNN was willing to reword your question, put their own words in your mouth, and as you said, you didn't want to go along with that, do you think they did that to other people last night?
I mean, absolutely. From what I did see, I'd seen a couple people that had asked questions before I did leave my house, and it was a little piece of paper cut out, and I know for a fact that nobody cut their own paper out and wrote their own question, especially when they were all based off the same topic. So to me, from right there, it showed that this isn't correct. Why are they all have the same size piece of paper with a short little question on it? So to
I guess
me, it was a total
what's
waste of
surprising is
my time,
I mean, you're not just some person off the street. You're a survivor of this shooting, and the point was to listen to you, to the survivors of the shooting. Were you surprised by the way they
Absolutely.
behaved?
I mean, honestly, it was very shocking to me, because we just went through such a horrific tragedy. For them to take that and now make such a big news cast over what they want to hear, it was very upsetting to me.
It's shocking to us too, trust me, in the actual journalism business. Colton, thank you. Thank you for telling us that. It's really interesting.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Godspeed.
Absolutely.
Guys, tell me what's going to happen on March 24th with your plan for a big march on Washington. What's your vision?
My vision is pink hats from space. You know, like this is going to be enormous. And I really hope that we can, I know that the word has spread wide and far, but I hope that we can even spread it even farther by that point, because I know that that's going to be indescribable, but in such a positive way.
And we have to. We just can't stop, because these special interest groups are never going to. And if we don't stop and we make our voices heard as an American public together, if we make our voices heard as an American public together, we're going to have to do that if we ever want to overcome this terrible tragedy.
So what do you say to the NRA?
Dismantle.
And don't make another organization.
Yeah,
under
don't make another
name.
organization under a different name. Don't you dare come back here. The fact that you were in power for so long and that you had so much influence for so long in America just goes to show how much time and effort we still need to spend on fixing our country.
Absolutely.
And gun control is just the first thing.
So I am asking another question. Are they suggesting that nobody have guns? This is quite confusing.
Right now, the first thing that we are mainly focusing on.
Look, I don't have to tell you guys, they give millions of dollars to politicians. They have a very powerful tool.
Okay, you guys can watch the rest of this if you want, and I will leave the links for both of these articles here. I just have one last thing to say. I do believe that these children are going to get what they want. And what I mean by that is I heard a little bit of Trump speaking today, and it left me with the impression that school is going to have security, armed security at the schools. Just a feeling. Okay, I hope this doesn't get flagged, and I hope I don't get another strike, because then I'm in big trouble. I'll have two. Okay, thanks, folks, for your time. Bye.